It's almost time, people. The first piece of silverware of the season will be determined this Sunday at Wembley when Liverpool and Newcastle clash for the Carabao Cup. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to centre around the preview to the Carabao Cup final taking place on Sunday at Wembley. Arne Slot's men will come up against Eddie Howe's Newcastle, a clash that in the past, even just this season alone, has been an incredible couple of encounters. But of course, this is a Premier League classic by any stretch of the imagination. So I imagine that when silverware is on the line between these two, the outcome of an entertaining and exciting match will be no different. But of course, this story has a lot of narrative to it. This game has a lot of storyline to it. But of course, on the bottom line of it, at the end of the game, whether it be the final whistle or the final spot kick, a trophy will be won by one of these two sides come Sunday evening. We're going to be talking about the game. We're going to be giving my analysis, my predictions on how I think the game will go. But before we go any further in discussing all of that and much more, I would like to remind you to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, about the Carabao Cup, the final that is set to be played out at Wembley on Sunday, these two teams in general, and anything else that you guys want to talk about. I'm sure it'll make for great interesting reading down below. So please do use and abuse that comment section, people, and talk to me on this very exciting topic of discussion. Right, now that that's out the window, we're going to get on with the video ourselves. Liverpool, Newcastle, Carabao Cup final at Wembley. Let's do this. Liverpool, like I say, this game has a lot of entertainment value to it. This is a Premier League classic. History tells us that whenever these two teams clash, they are going to put on an absolute clinic. And I'm expecting no different on Sunday. Liverpool are looking to defend their Carabao Cup crown. They won it last year at the expense of Chelsea in the extra time period of their game at Wembley, thanks to Virgil van Dijk, the skipper, the captain, stepping up when it needed to of course drag Liverpool over the finish line. What happened since then in this competition is that Liverpool have gone on again to reach another final. Not only are they looking to defend their crown, but they are also looking to win this competition for the 11th time. The most successful team in this competition are looking to add another League Cup trophy to their collection. Standing in their way, though, is Newcastle United. Newcastle United, who a couple of years ago came so close to winning this competition, had it not been for Erik ten Hag's Manchester United, who beat them in the final that year. Newcastle have won a lot in their long and illustrious history, but the League Cup, unfortunately for them, is not one of them. Will they go that one step further this time around? Will they pass that final hurdle? Standing in their way, of course, is Arne Slot's Liverpool, who have had a fantastic season so far. They were not even seen by many to get any sort of success this season. Maybe a domestic cup at most, but of course, as we know, they have been successful in other areas this season, put together an incredible title charge that they are closing in on, being triumphant in. It has been a brilliant season for Liverpool. Newcastle battling out for European football places in the Premier League. They've had a very good season as well. They've continued their progression under Eddie Howe. Champions League football is still a possibility for them this season. We shall see how that goes. But trophies, silverware, success, that could also be an incredible beginning to what is a new era at St James's Park in the form of a League Cup to really ignite things. So yes, there is a lot of storyline. There is a lot of narrative. There's a lot of hype in regards to this game. For Liverpool, it's about retaining their League Cup crown and adding more to it. For Newcastle, this could really begin something special in a new era that has been crying out for success for a very, very long time now. Eddie Howe's side go into this game with unfortunate injuries. Lewis Hall out for the rest of the season. Sven Botman out for this game. Jamal Lascelles out for this game. Anthony Gordon suspended for this game. There are a few injuries and suspensions that, of course, have not are giving a bit of a selection headache to Eddie Howe coming into this one. But before anybody in Liverpool starts counting their chickens before they hatch, I have to say this. Remember last season, Liverpool went into the Carabao Cup final with injuries galore, injuries throughout the game, and still managed to come away with the trophy in hand. And that was with playing our kids for the final half an hour of the game, or most of the game, towards the end of 120 minutes. Don't rule out Newcastle by any stretch of the imagination. We know they're going to be tough. We know they're going to be strong. We know that their midfield is going to be a well-oiled machine. We know that their front line is going to be extremely dangerous with Alexander Isak leading it. We know that Harvey Barnes is a suitable replacement, for the most part, for Anthony Gordon. We know that Jacob Murphy on the other side can be a bit of a thorn in the side of some defences. We know that defensively they can be solid as well. The likes of Fabian Schär, for example, Tino Livramento, all going really strong. So this game is not a foregone conclusion by any stretch of the imagination, even if you do think that Liverpool are the favourites to go on and lift this trophy once again. Liverpool, they've got a few injury concerns of their own. Trent Alexander-Arnold's injury midweek, that wasn't great. And it also adds on to the injury list at right back. Joe Gomez still not fit enough to play. Connor Bradley injured as well. So there's a bit of a gap at right back and a bit of a question as to who fills that gap. Now, Arne Slot today has been praising Jarell Quansah, and it seems like he is the most likely choice to be filling in that right back position. But interestingly, Arne Slot did throw in a curveball by saying that Curtis Jones could play there as a bit of a wild card option. Now, whether that's just a bit of mind games before obviously the game kicks off, I don't necessarily know. But it's an interesting one to throw in there. I'd strongly suspect that Quansah is at right back. He also mentioned today that Konate went off midweek, but he should be fine to play some part in the game. I would suspect that Konate starts, especially when you consider that there's no game for Liverpool for the next couple of weeks following this Carabao Cup final. So I would strongly suspect that Konate does partner Virgil van Dijk in the heart of the defence. And other than that, apart from the injuries that we already know, that just seems to be the only real concern right now for Liverpool, right back. It's going to be interesting to see whether Kelleher, Cup goalkeeper, starts, whether it's going to be Alisson Becker. Obviously, one of Tsimikas or Robertson plays, it's probably going to be Robertson. Gravenberch, McAllister and Szoboszlai in midfield, that seems to be a given. And then Salah, and then take your pick, really. It's not been great in recent games for either like Diaz, Jota or Nunez, but one of them obviously will have to start at least. Cody Gakpo's cameo in midweek could symbol that he may get a start in this game. And then, like I say, if it isn't Gakpo, then Diaz does start on the left, and then who do you throw up front? Is it going to be a Nunez? Is it going to be a Jota? Obviously, time will tell on that one. But Liverpool obviously come into this game in mixed emotions. I still would think that Tuesday night's defeat against the French champions PSG is still stinging a little bit. Obviously, it was a missed opportunity in my personal opinion. Obviously, to go out on penalties was obviously heartbreaking. To lose the Champions League the way that they did was obviously frustrating and annoying for them. It's a learning experience though for Arne Slot and obviously his men. So hopefully they will learn from that, and hopefully they can redeem themselves very quickly by obtaining a piece of silverware this Sunday. For Newcastle, it could be a sense of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, but ultimately we know that they are a very, 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 very good team. Eddie Howe's got them playing some really good football, defending really well. We know that this isn't going to be a walk in the park, and obviously with Alexander Isak leading the line, we know he's their main danger man. We're kind of fortunate in a way that Anthony Gordon lost his head in that FA Cup game to get him suspended for Sunday's game. So whilst there's a little bit of fortunaty there, we know how good Isak is. We know obviously Harvey Barnes is a very, very capable replacement for Anthony Gordon. I mentioned Jacob Murphy earlier, but it's the midfield for me. It's the midfield that is going to be the key part of the battle. And I know that sounds cliche to say, but it really, really is, because when I look at Newcastle's midfield, it's so good on paper. It's so, so good. And when they work together, they are a really, really good unit. You've got the likes of Tonali in there with his creativity and his leadership. You've got Bruno Guimaraes, who is just an absolute engine in that midfield and can obviously, again, has creativity of his own, can control things as well. And then you've got Joelinton, who is just the physicality. He is just, again, he's got excellent work rate. He puts himself about. He's a ball winner. It's a very, very good blend in there. And that's not even going beyond what the other options are. You've got Joe Willett, who's an engine himself. You've got Longstaff, legs for days. Like, he could just run up and down that pitch for the entire 90 minutes and more if needed be. So there's plenty of options there for Newcastle to really ponder and consider the best way to try and tackle this Liverpool outfit. And defensively, again, I know that Lewis Hall is going to be missing for this game, and that is a massive loss, especially because he actually had a pretty good game several weeks ago when Liverpool actually beat Newcastle by 2-0. He did kind of, for the most part at least, keep Salah a little quiet. I know Salah managed to get a lot of creativity in that game and he managed to still get an assist, but he did actually have a decent game against Salah as one of the best that you're going to see. Nuno Mendes from PSG aside. But yeah, that's going to be a big miss. Van Botman's going to be a big miss. And obviously, it depends on who they decide to go with for the combination at the heart of the defence. But yeah, it's they've got a solid back line, Newcastle. It's going to be interesting to see how Liverpool try and move the ball to try and penetrate it. So, like I say, I've already given you the way that I think Liverpool will set up. If I had to obviously suggest how Liverpool will play, I think it will be pretty much like how they did when they were at Anfield a few short weeks ago. In terms of Liverpool can be quite happy at times to give Newcastle the ball, say, go on then, try and break us down. This time though, it might be a little different because you're dealing with Alexander Isak and not Callum Wilson, with all due respect to Wilson. So it could be a little bit difficult, but I have the full faith that the likes of Konate and Van Dijk can keep Isak somewhat quiet. I know it's going to be extremely difficult, and I'm not anticipating them to completely neutralise the Swedish striker, but what I am expecting is a competent defensive display, a strong defensive display that will of course reduce the amount of opportunities and chances Newcastle are awarded, whilst at the other end, breaking on Newcastle, finding little gaps in spaces. Dominic Szoboszlai is going to be very important for breaking the lines of the Newcastle back line. And of course, Mo Salah is going to be Mo Salah. If Cody Gakpo is going to be playing, he's going to be a very good outlet to have on that left-hand side as well. He's just got more end product than what Luis Diaz has, in my opinion. And then whoever's going to be up front, whether it's going to be Jota, I think he probably will go with Jota in all honesty, or whether it's going to be Nunez. I mean, both haven't really been in that great of form recently, so again, take your pick. They're going to have to be on top form either way. They're going to have to take their chances. They're going to have to make the right decisions in the final third if Liverpool are to get across the finish line and win this particular game. For Newcastle, it's about keeping their composure, keeping their concentration, and taking the game in stages. We know that they're going to be travelling in their numbers. Maybe they could feed off the energy that the Newcastle supporters are going to give them. Otherwise, on the pitch, it's going to be set up defensively solid. Don't make any stupid mistakes. Don't give the likes of Salah a sniff. Don't give Gakpo an opportunity to cut in on his right foot and shoot from distance. Be as physical as you can around the likes of McAllister and Gravenberch especially. Try and neutralise Szoboszlai and reduce the spaces that he can manoeuvre into. And maybe try and target Cody Gakpo. Try and target Salah. Try and target Salah. Try and target Gakpo. 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 Try and target Salah. Try the left-hand side. Like I say, it's going to be a big task for, I would assume, Jarrell Kwanzaa against Harvey Barnes. But if, obviously, they can maybe target that area between Kwanzaa and Konate, I would assume, it could be a bit of a vulnerable point for Liverpool that maybe Newcastle can exploit. Either way, I'm very much looking forward to the game. It makes me want to win it more now that we're out the Champions League, of course. Being a Liverpool fan, that still stings from Tuesday night. But like I say, it makes me want to win this competition even more so. I mean, I know it's a final, so you obviously want to win it. You might as well whilst you're here. But I want to win it even more now, considering that the Premier League title is pretty much sewn up. We've obviously still got a little bit more work to do, but we're pretty much there. And then this competition now is the only thing that's left to really fight for outside of obviously tying up the Premier League. So it makes me want to win this competition so much more. But at the same time, I know how good Newcastle are. I know that they are a strong outfit. I know that they're going to be tough opposition on the day. And I think they're going to use the pitch to their advantage. We know that Wembley is a bit of a wide pitch. We've used it very well in the past. We obviously have been here and done it all in recent years. We've actually been on several outings to Wembley in cup finals, normally to meet Chelsea. So it's actually a welcome change that we actually have a final at Wembley in which we're not facing the Blues from London. We're actually facing a different outfit this time in the form of Newcastle. So that's actually quite nice. But yes, I'm hoping that it's going to be a competent performance from Liverpool. I'm hoping that it's going to be solid at the back. And I'm hoping that we're going to be taking our chances, unlike what we did at Anfield on Tuesday night. So I'm hoping and praying that it's going to be a very solid from back to front performance from the Reds. And that we get the job done and dusted. Like I say, there were a few concerns in the squad. They obviously have their own danger men that we have to be aware of, and not just their striker in Alexander Isak. There's a few areas that I like of Newcastle that I've already mentioned, the midfield, the wide positions, that kind of thing. But they do have vulnerabilities at the back themselves, and like I say, if Gakpo and Salah can pick their moment, can be at their creative best, and obviously can be a danger and a threat on and off the ball, then Liverpool will have a very, very good chance of winning. In terms of prediction then, look, I'm not going to go against my team. As much as there may be a little bit of bias towards this, I'm not going to go against my team. And I'm going to say that Liverpool win this game by 2-1. I'm going to say that Liverpool win this game by 2-1. I think Newcastle will get an early goal. And Liverpool will score on the stroke of half-time to go in at 1-1. And then Liverpool will get the winner with about 20-25 minutes to go, I would imagine. I'm just going with that because I think that obviously Newcastle have their threats. Liverpool do concede stupid goals, so I am expecting us to not keep a clean sheet in this game. And then Liverpool to just compose themselves, work through it, and punish Newcastle for their own defensive vulnerabilities, if that makes sense. So I'm going Liverpool to win by 2-1. I'm going for Liverpool to lift the Carabao Cup at the end of 90 minutes. Don't think extra time will be needed. Does it go into extra time? I think the final does go into extra time, doesn't it? I don't think this will go into extra time. Don't think this will go into penalties. I think Liverpool will get the job done in normal time. But those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Liverpool versus Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final to take place this weekend for the first piece of silverware on the line this season? I'd love to know your guys' thoughts, comments, opinions, feelings, but most of all, of course, I want to know your guys' predictions on where you think the Carabao Cup will be going. Will it be going to Liverpool or will it be going to Newcastle? Let me know what you guys think in that comment section. Use and abuse that section, people, and talk to me on this. I'm sure what you have to say will make for great and interesting reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out. If you enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new and want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers guys, thanks everyone for watching, take care, enjoy the rest of your day, speak to you all again very, very soon.